Mavi fonda, ortada, podcast 7. bölüm, yaratıcı süreçlerde disiplinlerarasılık ve erişilebilirlik yazıyor. Sağda yuvarlak içerisinde, üstte moderatör Serkan Bozkurt ve konuşmacılardan Chisato Minamimura'nın görselleri. Sol üst köşede British Council logosu. En altta sosyal medya linkleri. Devamında ekran ikiye bölünüyor. Solda konuşmadan görüntüler ve çeşitli görseller. Sağda işaret dili tercümanı. Sol üst köşede British Council logosu.
Hello everyone. In this podcast series, by the support of British Council, we are meeting great artists, art managers, great models of the accessibility in arts between the UK and Turkey. We would like to present great artists working in inclusive art. Especially our focus is accessibility. So today I'm so excited that we are having a podcast with Chisato. We met Chisato in London.
Hi.
There was a great performance we watched in Unlimited. Today we are together with Anna Bolton, and Michelle also is here. He is the manager. And thank you very much, Michelle, to organize this meeting. We will talk about, I would like to talk about the performance in Unlimited. Chisato was great on the stage. And also this podcast is very important for us because our focus is accessibility in arts, and Chisato using the body language and the sign language. And also, it was a great, for my side also, it was talking about the woman body, the performance. So there are a lot of things to talk. Chisato, welcome. I'm so excited. Sorry that little bit, but
Me too. I'm just as excited, Serkan.
It's great to see you here, and great to have an accessible meeting. Thank you so much for organizing. It will be very good model. Its own, the podcast will be very great model also for our podcast series. So I would like to start with Chisato about the performance in Unlimited. How it's was the process? What was the inspiration? And Marcus Woman, how you created the process, and also accessibility issues, how you organize it in the show.
Hi there, everyone. So, as Serkan said, I am Chisato. So I'm using British Sign Language at the moment. I'm not speaking, so I have an interpreter, Anna, today, who is doing a voiceover for my sign language. Just so everyone is aware. There might be a bit of delay at some points, so just keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Serkan, for coming over to Britain to watch my performance entitled Markable Woman. I think we're talking back in 2020 during the COVID lockdown. At that time, touring wasn't an option. Many shows were cancelled. Much artwork wasn't being made. It was a really difficult time for the industry and the world as a whole. And I imagine it was probably the same in Turkey as well. At that time, I was working with Unlimited and the Welcome Collection, as they offered me an opportunity to do some online artistic research. I choose the theme of tattoos, specifically tattooed skin, as my inspiration. And I started researching this area, and specifically women who had been tattooed throughout history and what their stories were. This was the catalyst for me to start my research into this. And I found that true women's stories that had been hidden throughout history or had been silenced over the ages throughout the world, all over the years, and that there were so many stories out there. So I picked and chose lots of different stories, and that helped create the structure of the show. Once I had that initial structure, I wanted to create a performance from a deaf perspective. Once the story was clear for me, I got support from lighting designers and animators and sound artists. Translated the story I discovered into BSL and VV, which stands for Visual Vernacular. To explain that a bit more, it's a deaf performance artistic style that is very unique. Its signs are changed into physical concepts and used to create the performance. So my creative team, we worked together with what I'd created thus far, and we shared ideas and brainstormed and worked it all in together to create the show. Normally in theatre, you might go watch a show and listen to the music or the score of the piece, but for a deaf audience, including myself, I might watch a show, but I won't be able to access the sound. So I decided to bring in the element of a wuja belt. It's a device that takes sound and translates it into a vibrational score, which is absolutely fantastic, which means 3 different sensory elements are accessible for audiences: sight, sound, and vibration. It's accessible for deaf and hearing audience members, this wuja belt device, and I offer it to my audiences as such. This helped grow the show and created what I have today.
It's great how you brought this tattoo and the skin and the body, the connection. It's also great how you combine with different art disciplines like visual art and the performance art, and also it's a very creative way that you use these issues in the creativity and also accessibility, because I mean, our focus accessibility in creative process in the podcast series. So it's a great model how you combine all of these processes. And I would like to ask, till that time, how Chisato created its her performance way. How you came to this point that you can use these different elements of the performance. How was your way as an education and experiences, especially in the accessibility? How was it for you? How you could use accessibility in the education and also trainings before you come to stage?
Yeah, great question. So I went to university in Japan, and there I studied specifically art, and I got my degree in Japanese traditional painting, which is what I studied. At that time, there were no interpreters available for me. There was no access. So, growing up, I went to a hearing school. I never went to a specifically deaf school. which means I didn't have any access. So I kept attending a hearing school. I think Britain or other countries, it's maybe a similar situation. But now things have changed so much. After my studies, I became really, really interested in learning to dance. At that time, I was deaf. I didn't really connect with dance. I didn't see how I fitted into that world. Because, for dance, you have to listen to music, and that isn't possible for me. So at that time in Britain, there was a German person living in Britain called Wolfgang, who came into Japan and was teaching workshops for deaf and disabled individuals and also non-disabled individuals, which I joined in. And I was astonished. I said, I can dance. It's possible for me. And I became really passionate about this topic. And I wanted to learn more about dance. And I was wondering where taught dance to deaf and disabled people. So I did my research and I found Laban as an option. I found that they were teaching disabled people such as myself, so I went there to study. And at that time, they had BSL interpreters available for usage, which was really, really worthwhile for me to be able to learn in that way.
It's great. I'm very impressed. I also love Laban technique. We learned in the school. So now I understand how you connect sign language and the performance, and also the technique of the contemporary dance. I would like to ask about the feedback of the audience and how you take the feedback and how you use the feedback of the audience.
Yeah, I would just add a little bit actually about how my performance is accessible, because I think that might be useful. So I explained a little bit about the Wuja belts. They're used to feel the performance, the sound, the music, how it's translated. I also use BSL in the performance, which deaf audience members are able to understand. But I found that some people, have maybe never seen BSL before, and they're not able to understand the narrative. So for them, I provide access with a voiceover. For blind or visually impaired audience members, I provide an audio description. But with this and all the access elements I offer, I want them to be done in an artistic manner. So, for example, a voiceover that's happening while I'm signing. For example, Anna is watching me, she is voicing over live, but this sometimes means there's a little bit of a time lag as she processes, which is normal. And that's the normal way that deaf people might communicate. But in the theatre, I really, really want any access to be artistic. So my performance, we create a script for the voiceover and whoever will be performing the voiceover, so they know what to expect. This means when I'm on stage and I start signing, the voiceover matches, it's simultaneous. It's slightly ahead. We work very much in tandem. And very important phrases or words happen simultaneously. And we try to play with those timings of the voiceover and the signing. With the audio description, or the visual descriptions we sometimes call it, the audio describer will describe what's happening on stage, and especially for the sections of visual vernacular. As a lot of people will watch this and VV also has animation which supports it. There's sounds that support the entire image and soundscapes. So, for example, the sea, and then there'll be sea bobbing in the background as part of the animation. There's the sound of waves swishing past or seagulls in the distance that are supported. But I felt I wanted to add some visual description. And I realised that doing this visual description, both for people that are blind or visually impaired and also sighted, makes quite sense. So, for example, sighted people that had never seen VV before, it was their first time experiencing it, that this description being given to them via headphones really helps them understand the entire performance. And it's really, really useful for audience members. So that's something that I now do whenever I'm touring. I give the option for any individuals who are interested, alongside blind and visually impaired people, sighted people are also able to access this visual description.
It's great that how you create the connection between audience and also about the accessibility in different disabilities, especially for the blind people. Also, it's very important to use the descriptions. So thank you very much for sharing this model. I hope this method you created your own, it can be a very good example for the people who wants to work in accessible arts sector, because so many people are just thinking about to create some inclusive art, but they maybe think it's so difficult or I cannot do it. So for us, it's very important to share these models, especially in Turkey, because in Turkey I have the inclusive dance company, but the sector is not very big. So we are trying to present the artists like you to spread this energy to the whole art scene. So
Yeah, if I can add on that, I think everything you've said, it can be hard at times, and especially to spread the message. I think you have to start in one place. I've had some locations, some stages where, you'll have interpreters on the side of the stage, or you might have an audio description, but we're trying to create something completely new. And there is potential out there.
yeah, thank you very much for this meeting. I would like to thank for also Anna that you share your energy with us, and also Michelle for organizing the meeting. Uh, we will soon meet with our people who are into this with our podcasts, hopefully in different social media platforms, and soon. And I hope to see different performance of Chisato, or I will check the new dates. Thank you very much for this meeting and for great answers. If you want to add something, please just as a finish, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. I've really, really enjoyed your learning, having individuals from Turkey in the audience of my shows. It's been wonderful. I do have some more resources about artistic access. I've got a film, so please take a chance to look at this on my website. It explains a lot more about the artistic access I'm creating.
So everyone who is watching this podcast, check the Chisato Minamimura website and the new performances, maybe another workshops or different sharings in the website. So it will be great inspiration for everybody. Thank you very much for this day. Hopefully see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Bye bye.
Bye bye.